Grettir, can I
yes,
ask you a question?
sure.
More about you. What's your official position at Solid Clouds, and how long have you been with the company? I'm kind of curious, just to it kind of provides context for your answers.
So I am the CEO and lead game designer and founder of Solid Clouds.
Oh, excellent! I didn't know that. Thanks.
He's the big boy, but somehow he still gets told off for spoilers.
Oh,
Oh
Yeah.
man, you gotta taunt him.
and the owner, if that makes sense.
the foremost expert on everything Solid Clouds. Yeah.
Awesome. So now I know who to spam. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, it's a different kind of map. I do agree.
Will the nodes be randomized? Like, if will this
Yeah,
desert planet be
they-
here on every single server?
I'm not sure of the special hexes, but like let's say the resource ones are randomized between maps at least.
I love that.
That's awesome. Yeah, I've really been looking forward to that change for quite some time.
We've been wanting it since Alpha 8, at least.
So it's basically you can make every map will be more or less random, right? Like as far as
Yeah, you kind of have to figure out which. Well, the islands are pretty much the best spots, but on this map. But that being said, it's still not. You can't just go to that coordinate and it's gonna be.
that's
The
awesome.
islands do look cool.
That's cool because I think not only is that going to stop veterans from being able to choose it, but I think veterans also like to go and search the map, right? I think that makes a good Starborne player is being able to look at a blank map and what's a good spot to move it on. I think that's one of my favorite things to do on the first day is
100%.
now that our achievements have been nerfed, I'll be looking a lot more at the map because I want everything to do.
I kind of like has been mentioned here before. A part of any strategy game is exploration and figuring out the map and kind of taking that aspect away is not a good thing.
I agree.
Happy to
My
hear that,
main
yeah.
joy in Starborne is looking at the map, and I don't want that to be beaten by someone with a program, even if I could use the same program.
Right. That's I've watched Road hit Twitch stream looking at the map, and I've sat there and watched him do it. That's how much I enjoy looking at the map. I am willing to watch other people just look at the map.
And I can tell you guys, there are so many changes coming in the next few months. But every time I'm writing something down or like planning something, the map is always kind of in the I don't want to lose the aspect of the map.
I don't suppose you're in the mood for tiny spoilers.
Well, I guess you guys have been teased about combat changes.
Well, Snoogums gave us so many combat spoilers.
Snitch! He hasn't told us anything.
Oh, he spoiled basically everything. You can tell us anything you want about it.
yeah, there you go.
Not a spoiler.
No, I was actually looking at the prototype today of the new combat system. They added terrain to it. It's. I'm very impressed with it. I think it's gonna be a lot of fun.
Are
I'm
you
hyped by the
guys?
concept.
Huh?
Are you guys trying to move into a more combat-oriented, like live-action combat area?
No. Well, no. No. That's not the goal here. It's more like visualizing combat, having builds, having like strategy.
That was a very good pronunciation, by the way.
Thank you. No, and we will add like more PvE stuff. So and progression around that. But like having live battles on the map, I get that. I like that. It's still not exactly our goal here. we've thought about it a lot though. It's just very hard to balance how like people joining in and all that.
Yeah, I'm definitely in the mode of rather not have any kind of actual real time strategy. I very much play this on the go, as I imagine most people.
I don't want to wake up for a battle.
Yeah,
But I do
exactly.
like the added strategy that is being theorized.
But it's still like I can tell you after these combat changes, there are a lot of other things coming, like space dungeons,
Mm.
some events, and it's just gonna be a lot of fun, I think.
And at some point in the pipeline, a major solar flare rework.
Bring it back. Bring it all these back to it. Jesus.
Well, like active resource slash solar or whatnot generation, it's gonna be changed a little bit. It like you guys here, it's a kind of nightmare balancing this as it is right now. But I can tell you one thing, at least with the rankings inside, it's a pretty easy thing to kind of see who has the lead. Is it the rating thing or solo players at least?
The rankings are a very, very nice change.
Yeah,
A lot.
I love them, and just they're also very modular, so it's easy to kind of add stuff into it or take it out. And I'm very interested also to see the battle scores.
Mm-hmm.
That's, for me, it's just people are fighting or defending, which is for me one of the main stats that before that wasn't even being tracked.
Now, I say this. I'll preface saying I don't want to be nitpicky, but have you managed to get the damage dealt to measure actual stuff destroyed rather than the firepower that I used to kill one Corvette? Because it may well be very possible, because I know task achievements have currently used the firepower you used to kill one Corvette as saying, oh, you dealt like 2 million damage in one battle.
Yeah. Yeah, that was bugged. But that being said, I like it's set up right now. It's only for PvP, but it should basically only be PvP. And if you, I think it should be tracking compared to the amount of stuff you are destroying.
Yeah, I hope so. And even if it's not there yet, I look forward to when it is all working.
If it's not there, we will address that ASAP. Like I said, attack, defense, destruction, bumping, so that's okay. This actually has a no, that's the way it should be, at least. If not, then it's a bug, and we'll address that quickly. I can promise you that.
Yeah, 'cause that happens even like it definitely taints like the number one battle on the server, etc. Like the top 100 battles.
Yes.
Many of those are versus like one ship, and it just you happen to have such overwhelming firepower because it only does total damage, not damage against hit.
Yes.
Right.
I know what you're talking.
You got any cool cosmetics on the horizon? Those fences you guys have been teasing us with for a while.
We do have the fences, but I think they're on hold right now. It's basically kind of the fences or something around your empire. That's kind of the next framework. Then of course more of the same stuff.
We've had a conversation about this quite a bit, and we're questioning at any point would you guys consider more like station-based cosmetics opposed to empire-wide cosmetics? This is where we talk about a lot of times. There's really no point to be owning more than one station skin, more than one explosion, more than one profile picture, because I can only use each one time. Whereas if I could, per se, with the border claimers, if I could do each station has a different station skin, I could then at least there'd be a purpose for me to own, 2+ skins because each of my stations I can add it to, or anything along those lines.
That's a good point. Yeah, no, like doing brand new models, it's not exactly on the horizon right now. I think most of the 3D work would be going into, rather than customizing your own station, into adding new stuff on the map. But different skins, definitely.
Yeah, so like, because that would just be really cool, specifically with like the festering one, which I didn't always love, but like we did get it from like winning the tournaments. Like the fact that I have to have it on every one of my stations is but per station would be so
Yeah,
cool, and
yeah.
I imagine that would drive up sales too, because got like, oh, a new station, I need a new skin, and there's people out there like that. Namingly me, like I would have to like, oh crap.
I know.
Yeah, I know it's not necessarily a priority.
The problem with these things is that I'm just gonna be brutally honest with you guys. Vanity items in the current setup, I think, is less than 4% of revenue. And for strategy games in general, it's just usually a low sell. It's like this is not a mobile game where it could be the kind of primary driver for revenue.
Yet.
Yes.
You can make it a mobile game. You can do it. No, just kidding. Sorry.
But the problem is that when we have to, like, let's say we have to model a high-res station, like different variances of those, it's very expensive. And if we expect sales to be around in the hundreds, it just, the price for each station is just very high. Are you following?
Oh yeah, of course.
If we had a player base of, let's say, 20,000 daily actives, 30,000 daily actives, it scales like the more people you have, the cheaper it is.
Right. And that's why I think we've had the conversation, like me and some of the guys, of at the very least these skins being multiple use, because that's the big thing. Say if you did right now release a new station skin, right? Because there was the one specifically I know Brinks always talks about, the Void Painter one, the legendary Void Painter one. But there'd be almost no point in releasing it because I currently own, I'm scrolling through them now, I think 6 station claim skins.
Yeah.
And it's like, why would I buy it? I mean, I personally probably would, but why would the average person buy yet another station skin, claim skin, if I can only use one? Ever, right? And that's like the big thing with League of Legends or something. I need a skin for every one of my champions. It's not just I wouldn't often buy multiple skins for the same champion because it's like, okay, I have a skin here, but if I want to use another one. But I also understand the player base isn't there.
So it's kind of per station. That would make sense for you.
Per station, I mean, I think because you already have the artwork, right? With these things, you wouldn't have to be invest more stuff. But if I could use 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 different station skins, I might buy a 7th when I launch a 7th station. Like there's at least that thought. Whereas I never ever have the thought process unless it's solely I want to support Solid Clouds to buy a new skin.
Gotcha.
Right. So just give me a reason. But I also know the player base. Would you guys? I know I asked you this quite some time back, but do you guys ever consider going to something like Steam? Or something that would get you the player base, maybe more when you're ready or when you actually release the game?
It's like, yes, we've thought about it a lot. There are the various reasons why we want to go there, and and also why we are not there yet. I think for like, if you just check on Steam, there are not a lot of games like our game in there. right now. There are a few which have like some similarities with mixed reviews, but that being said, it's something that we want to consider before we release the game.
Before you release.
Yeah. But that being said, with games like Starborne, it just comes in waves. Like we expect a spike at the Dissidence release. I'm not sure exactly how big the spike will be, but with each release, it goes up and down.
Right.
Right. It's like the seasonal games. If you would look at the player base in, for example, Path of Exile, compared to around the releases, the player base is very high.
Right.
At month 2, it's very low.
Yeah, and I feel like I'm at. Sorry.
It's just a roller coaster ride. If you would look at the graph.
Right. I feel like I've gotten a little bit of a hint. Like, luckily, with the whole effect of first videos, I've actually been able to kind of track, I think, how new players are entering the game. Because, out of however many new players, someone's going to Google how to play Starborne. And so we're up to like 20,000 views on that one. But, like, I've been able to see this little bit of, like, like when there is a spike, I see them also on my videos. So I thought that was pretty interesting. But like, I'm imagining, and I'll be able to kind of track it through my little videos. Also, a little bit of a spike when Dissidence. Are you guys going to be doing advertisements and stuff like that?
Yeah. So we for Dissidence, we will be doing. I don't expect it's gonna be like in the beta where we had to open 3 servers in like 4 days, and those servers were a lot bigger than we have right now. But that being said, the budget for the whole month is quite high, so I expect it to be more distributed throughout the month. So we have a lot of players. We're gonna send out a lot of emails, do a lot of retargeting, both on Facebook and YouTube and so on. So it's basically everyone who knows about Starborne should be aware at least there's a new release going on.
Right. So for releasing servers, besides obviously the initial spike, are you guys still considering that kind of try to sit at that pace? Do you guys like that pace? Or are you guys considering other types of schedules?
Well, for the Dissidence, I'm actually hoping to be able to do it twice per week.
Oh wow.
It is a smaller player base in each server, so I guess
Exactly.
that makes sense.
Yeah, it's about half,
Yeah.
isn't it? 1,500 per server, or
huh?
it'll be 1,500 per server.
Well, yeah, the starting positions, but it means around 2,000 to 3,000 people will join the server.
Yeah. I think it used to be about 5,000 starting position. Right,
the beta had 4,400.
Yeah. So that will be interesting, actually.
Yeah, and we were releasing up to a server per week there. It just depends on how hard we're driving advertisement.
With so many servers back to back, have you guys considered ever giving out things like profile pictures like you guys used to in the old alpha things for rewards? I know that helped a lot with like keeping servers alive. Specifically, like veterans are more likely to stick with the server instead of bouncing to the server if there's a profile picture. I think even new players are kind of a little bit enticed by that. That's something you guys are considering it, or are you guys pretty much good with the current rewards of the game?
No,
You can skip anytime. I'm hardballing you. You can say skip.
Look, short term, it's just a little bit fluent. Long term, we've been actually giving this a lot of thought. So we in the next few releases, I'm not sure if it's gonna be in the next release or the release thereafter. We'll have like server rewards, basically best reward. You have to kind of play through the servers to get the best rewards. So we'll have personalized quest lines, and you kind of have to finish them to get the rewards.
Oh wow, that's incredibly cool.
I'm just telling you guys there's a lot of exciting stuff coming to Starborne. It's something we'll start, I think, announcing maybe 3 weeks after Dissidence. We are making the plan for the next year and scoping things out. But there's no lack of ideas or direction. It's just how much how much time is each item gonna take. So we kind of have to group it together and make sure it's a fit and we can commit to it.
Was there any kind of like real cultural shift within Solid Clouds? Because I feel like this is like incredibly new stuff. Like particularly the combat system you guys mentioned. Even this, over the last 2 years I played this game. I mean, there has been nothing even remotely close to this, and now you're saying there's even more coming. Was there
I'm pretty sure the scope, but the scope of the changes are probably bigger than anyone can imagine right now. Yes and no. It's just I feel like our technology is getting to a point where it's just easier to add into it. The base we are getting a pretty decent handle on the basics. Not sure how to explain. It's just we've been working a lot on our tech, on our kind of backend framework. It's something maybe not something that the users see per se, but it's getting easier for us to do stuff. And I was talking about the map. I'm not, like I said, we have insane control on the map. We can pretty much do anything on the map right now.
Yeah, that's wild. Absolutely wild to hear. I mean, you can see it. This is unlike anything I've ever seen. This map alone, it's not just like a tack on to something else. It's brand new. It's wild.
Yeah, I'm just saying we could launch a map where you would have like 6 different areas, and it could be almost feel like 6 different games on the same map. I'm not saying that would make sense, but we could do it with our current tech. But yeah, so going forward, yes. So yes, we have the combat changes coming, and we have a lot, and that kind of just the combat changes. That's kind of a new layer to a game, and that opens up a lot of other possibilities.
Oh yeah, yeah.
No, and like bringing like if you kind of deepen the combat, making the builds and all that means we can have different like encounters, and you kind of have to build up towards that or this or it's a lot of stuff. But that being said, I expect maybe in 3 weeks we have a clear picture how we can kind of group this together, and then we'll start kind of sharing kind of how we want to see the next expansion and the expansion after, and then we'll have a much clearer how do I say it? Like where so where will Starborne be in 12 months? I think we can start answering that question in detail in probably a month.
Wow. I know for a long time that was often the players always said, what really is the direction. I know especially with a lot of the Dead Zone stuff coming out. I know you guys were working on clearly on this stuff.
That zone actually ticked for me. It ticked in a few boxes, and it was more like a proof of concept that you have to understand. We did that's on game modes in around a month for two developers.
Right.
I think it took 2 developers. That was like, yes, we can create like a different game basically in a very short time, kind of using our framework, right?
Yeah.
And but that being said, guys, I'm trying to kind of figure out. I'm not a native English speaker, so
No, you're good. You're good.
I'm trying to find the English words here. That was more like a proof of concept for us. I not that we don't love that zone and want to work on it, and I do believe it. If we would put focus on it, it could kind of be its own thing. But we are still a small indie company. We can just focus on one thing at a time. But yeah, so I think we are reaching the point with kind of our technology stack that I think we have the basics. Now we kind of want to put meat on the bones.
Oh, we're here for it. This is exciting. This is so exciting, man.
I want the Starborne meat.
Yeah, give us the meat.
So we are kind of happy. We are starting to get happy with the skeleton. Now we want some muscle.
Yeah.
Arnold style.
Yeah, I mean,
and look, we know how. Like, if we wanted to do it, we could make Starborne kind of a permanent thing.
There's certainly some players who want a permanent server.
I'm not saying it would be a good idea, but we could do it. And I know exactly how we would do it.
In the distant future, if Starborne becomes and has a bigger player base, would it be feasible to get custom personal servers?
Not in Sovereign Space, but for that zone, definitely.
I like Dead Zone custom servers.
yeah, I would actually be more interested in custom servers than I would how it's currently set up. I think it's fairly difficult to play currently with like it having to play on the weekends, etc. But I could definitely imagine even if we had like 10 friends and we could host a Dead Zone game, maybe we could maybe tweak the rules a little bit if we had some kind of admin things. But you can make fun scenarios like a 5v5. I know something I've personally asked for a lot. But I think that'd be really fun to do something like that and make up your own like let it have we only want it to be 2 hours and we want the speed to be this, like you were saying before, how there's a lot more everything in this map could be faster, or you could do small things like that, set a custom server up like you do in basically any like a command and conquer, right? You set up
and
pick a map
and there are so many
I think that'd be very interesting.
Yeah, and there are so many things we want to do with that zone. I feel to be for that zone to be truly competitive, you need teams versus teams rather than free for all. But free for all is great also. Queuing up servers is not that hard, but it still takes time for us.
Right.
And like I said, I kind of feel that zone could and should evolve to a kind of a separate product. But we have to put effort into it, and like I said, we just don't have time for it. We have to kind of right now. I feel I want to release Starborne, and I expect that to be happening in I think 12 to 14 months from this point.
Oh, awesome.
We are planning, I think, 3 to 4 releases until then. And then we can maybe split focus, but I just want to finish Starborne, kind of finish the vision there, and I feel like we have the basics down, the technology is there, and we can start just adding a lot of content to this.
I think I can speak for the majority of the Dead Zone player base at the moment that we do think sovereign space is more important, and we're glad that Solid Cloud's focus is sovereign space. But when you do get round to Dead Zone, boy, do we have some issues.
Nerf radiation of Night Corps.
So I was thinking about sneaking in like a smaller map with maybe 12 starting positions and helping at least Logan and like having these practice servers was not a part of the current season going on there. So people could at least practice. I know the barrier of entry to that zone is quite high. Even vets are a little bit scared of it, kind of jumping in there. It's kind of the deep end of the pool. Yeah, so no, I want to get Starborne Storm Space into a very good place before we focus on, it's like a split focus. That zone, it was a fun experiment where we kind of proved our case that we have a framework, ticked a lot of boxes, and we will revisit it. It is a great testing ground to test out stuff. But that being said, we don't have the resources to kind of develop two products at the same time right now.
I like to hear it. I like to think, Dead Zone with a summer fling, and you're over it, and you're ready to get back to the main squeeze. And I like it. I'm so excited.
Yeah, it's kind of harsh though. I think that zone is awesome. But yeah.
Feka, did you just call my lover a fling?
Oh, that's a fling, baby. The wife is back in town. Sovereign Space is getting the attention it deserves.
I'd be upset if I didn't agree that Dead Zone is still a prototype.
It is.
It was fun, right? It was fun. It was new. It was cool. We were all there's a lot of stuff you guys obviously needed to do with the map changes. Being able to add this kind of flexibility, I'm sure it took back in time. So it was fun to go play some Dead Zone, But I'm very excited to see stuff happening back with Sovereign Space.
Hey, new location.
You know it. Better it was. We moved the party here.
What's up?
It's good. It's spoiler time.
Oh, yeah.
Spoiler time! Whoa.
I'm just telling the guys, oh, there's so much stuff coming, but I can't say.
Oh, that's what I've been doing for the past couple of weeks now. They keep asking me, and I give them the same answer.
But I'm not joking. We will have some news soon, kind of the new stuff. But like I said, it is pretty obvious we are changing the combat in Starborne, and that will open up a lot of new avenues.
With the change to combat, I'm assuming that would also mean how sabotages and so forth works as well. And then also I would imagine with Dead Zone, I saw you guys you got rid of sabotages in the sense we know and changed it for how spies work. Is there also any changes to spies coming with Starborne? Because I've always felt that was a very lackluster, you point and click.
It like I said, we have to scope things out, but this is actually not from me. This is actually Snookum's kind of part. He wants to put agents, which you can kind of place on the map, which would replace the spy system.
Mm-hmm.
I have heard Snoogums quietly muttering about how one day he'll change spies for a while.
Yes, but that being said, this is one of a few very big ticket items we are looking into. I'm not sure exactly the date on that.
I'm certainly happy, like Spies, a system that I'd enjoy to see a change, but I'm not going to get upset at Spies not being changed first. I'm very excited that combat is up there as
because that's just, it's like, once you open up that, you can open up quest lines, encounters, stories around, Space dungeons.
Combat is ubiquitous in Starborne, so I'm happy that it gets changed first, personally.
You
It's the thing that people remembers.
right, but you mentioned space dungeons quite a lot during this conversation. Would there be any like real? Is that just like another form of NPC, and you're getting it for resources, or are you gonna actually like tie stuff into these so-called space physically?
Well, yes. I just like the word space dungeons.
It's a good word. It's a good word.
Yeah. But look, that's just something that is something that we want to look into after the combat changes. But just imagine there's kind of an instance on the map, and your alliance can claim it. By claiming it, you can either restrict access to it or get bonuses from like location on the map will always matter.
Location on the map for what?
Where the space dungeon is, where your empire is, where your alliance is. So we like whatever we are adding in, it's gonna be on the map.
Right. But you'd actually like capture it. It's not just something like event you would do.
Well, you will have influence over it.
Will it be around a vortex?
Huh? Sorry.
Will it be around a vortex?
I don't know exactly how it will be displayed, but I maybe a vortex. I wouldn't bet on it, but yeah.
So being under your influence, but could you like do things with this dungeon, or is it like maybe some victory points, or maybe some like empire-wide bonuses, alliance-wide?
Can you put other players in it?
Can you lock them up? Yeah. Into the space dungeon, you noob. Get in line.
Or tax it.
Yeah. Oh, wait. Is this,
Yeah, now there are a lot of possibilities there. But that being said, it's gonna be on the map, and people might have influence over it. That's kind of you can fill into it after that.
Vassals confirmed.
But like I said, even though we are adding PvE stuff in there, the map and the alliances, and the claim should matter.
Yeah, I love that.
I have a question about Dissidence.
Sure.
So there's a sector victory, and there's
Yep.
an alliance victory.
Yeah.
And we know the sector victory is going to play into the lore.
Yes.
In terms of like rewards for the server, whatever those rewards may be, like credits or platinum or build hours or anything that you're getting as a reward for finishing the server, will the alliance victory have bigger rewards than the sector victory?
I just look. I had this conversation with the dev team just today before I went from work. We are still discussing it. But I would at least say yes, the sector victory will impact the lore. The alliance victory will not. But that being said, the rewards for each victories, like whether it's vanity or something else, should be very similar at least. Maybe the alliance victory will have a little bit higher rewards actually. My bet is that they are gonna be actually higher than the sector victory. But on the lore side, the sector victory is kind of the key. The alliance won't affect the lore.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand alliance not being put into the lore 100% because, like, even just in the history that we as players know, the fact that Yumiho, if you pronounce it kindly, is one of the big alliances in terms of like first to achieve stuff still gets to me. So I can understand that not being in the lore, but I do very much support like in-game rewards, like platinum or whatever, just mechanical things, being bigger for alliance victory than sector victory, because I think it would get weird if your alliance, your 15-man alliance, here to win the game, the
Yes.
more important one to win for that scale being sector victory gets very weird.
Gotcha. And I do kind of agree with you.
Grettir, I have a follow-up question to that.
Sure.
So, how many are still gonna win the alliance victory? Is it still gonna be limited to 3 like the last maps, or are there going to be more?
There's one alliance who's gonna win.
Of all 3 sectors, right?
Yes.
Oh.
No.
Right. So like one total,
He's saying the
right?
sector.
Or per
So
sector.
it's not per sector. It's one alliance on the servers who's gonna win.
So you
Right.
can be an alliance that wins, but your sector loses.
Yes.
That's hilarious.
That's
That's gonna be. I would be so upset at my sector if my alliance wins it and our
Sometimes
sector
you just
loses.
can't carry people, man.
I know it. Well, at least it's some recognition. You know, like, well, you know, I was the top 3 alliance, even though my sector lost. So I'll also take that in stride.
Yes, we kind of it's just due to time restraints and all that, but we generally would have liked stronger secondary objectives on this map, and secondary objective is kind of the alliance victory, but that being said, we felt it was very important to at least have it in there. But in the future, we would like see in scenarios like this more objectives for the alliances. But on the lore side, it's gonna be the sector, only the sector.
I like that because the thing that I like about this sector victory is that it means there's something to aim for on the big scale. Like, I'm a new player, I'm not in one of the top groups, I'm in like the bottom, like 50% of players here, but I have something I can work towards. Meanwhile,
Yes.
there's a separate thing that the top 1% can work towards. And I think adding more layers in that can make it even better.
Yes, and then again, we also kind of we haven't not announced it for Dissidence, but we are looking into like top places for the ranking categories as well, like individual victories, I guess.
That'd be
A lot of
awesome.
victory.
Yes, so
victory.
if you would be like in the top 5 of rating or augmenting outposts or whatnot.
I think that would be very cool, even if it was just a badge.
Yes, exactly.
Speaking of badges, are we gonna get one that's different for each of these?
So there will be separate badges for Dissidents compared to the beta one.
So are these basically archived, or will you re-release these other badges again?
We might add them again. It's going into the back.
I like it.
Yes, I mean, come on, we can never say never.
I got all my first places, so I'm good. I don't care. You can retire now.
Oh, okay.
I
I only have one. I have one first place, I think, for territorial victory.
Really? What server did you do that in?
It's a secret.
Oh, come on, it's past. It's over. You can tell us. I tried, guys.
We aren't gonna audit what account we were using. It's fine.
Punch it down.
So you have all 3. Good job then.
That's all. That's all I wanted, Grettir. I did it for you. I didn't get that good job.
But no, we will have separate badges for this. I'll make sure.
Yeah, cool. Well, I would like to see. Now I'm really upset. I don't have the second and third for each of them. I only have a few of the second and thirds. Now, if we get first place, I think it'd only be fair you give us the second and third as well. Now that they're retiring, I have so much regret. I should have just joined a random server and just gotten my third place.
It's like back in Alpha 8, how I reckon the second place avatar looked cooler than the first.
Yeah.
Yeah. I only got the second place one, and I was actually pretty happy about it. I still rock it, and I lucked out there.
I still have the one I bought I think for Alpha 7. There's one avatar that's very rare.
Is that the hooded?
Oh yeah, it's the what's it called?
No, that lady.
Yeah, the girl where you purchase anything. Yeah, I got that one too.
Purchase anything was the rarity.
That was a rarity.
Grettir's over here trying to talk it up, acting like no one's gonna call him out. Doll out here.
I still see a few of them.
That's
The
cool.
rare-
There's also the what's it called? The old man with the blue background and stuff like that. We need to have a public
I
name.
have that one.
Yeah, I have that one as well.
Just for your information, nobody gets anything for free if the employees are playing. They have to pay. Stuff.
Just dock my pay. Just...
No, I actually had a couple asking for advance for the beta.
Oh man.
But no, it's we have a very strict rule on that. So we are not. We don't get anything for free. That includes me.
Not even a
I'm glad
Christmas
about
bonus.
Your Christmas bonus is good.
Christmas bonus.
No.
2K plat for everyone. Yeah, no, I get it. That's cool. That's actually that's a cool thing to note, actually.
I like that policy, and it's why anytime there are accusations of dev powers or mod powers being given in-game advantage, I will defend you guys to the end.
Yeah, I know iMaple had a hard time with that, and I was pretty disappointed because he was doing that really cool Let's Play series. And I know a lot of new players that have then asked me to do it. And I'm like, man, that is a lot of work. iMaple was doing the Lord's work over there, putting that together. I thought it was really cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's unfortunate he got like hunted because they're like, oh, it's not fair. A dev's playing with the.
Yeah, he was the only one who broke the rule. But yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, I get if he was trying to make the Let's Play series, it helps to have the name recognition. Like, well, he's obviously putting it out there, saying you're a dev obviously helps, and having the name stick with it. But I don't know. The witch hunt is real. It's unfortunate because I think it was a cool thing. You know, if someone has a dev on their team, I've always thought that was like a really cool thing to note, you know, at least when I first started playing. And when I heard about devs potentially playing the game, I thought it was cool.
The problem is we have a few devs who are too competitive and will do anything.
A few of them.
That's the
I can know one.
Here's a question, Grettir. Are there devs who are like very good at the game, like at the level of the top vets? Because anytime I hear a story of what a vet is achieving, it does not seem that way.
Well, there is one or two maybe that could be in the top 10. It depends on the server, I guess. Let's say they would have joined server 24. I'm not sure that a dev would be in the top 5.
Are you want to name names? Can you give someone kudos? Give someone kudos in your office. Who is it?
Well, I can just tell you straight up, Snookums is the most competitive person in the office. But
having gotten to play with Snookums, when he invaded our sector because he didn't know what GTs were in what sector, and then attacked our allies' fob because he thought it was an enemy fob because he's not on Discord. My opinion of Snookums changed quite quickly. Yeah, he's obviously a good player, but like it was funny, like him being a dev and then being like, "Oh my god, I thought this GT was in my sector," and I'm like, don't you make the map or something? Like, can't you don't you need to add some better lines here? And then him attacking our allied fob, we gave him so much hell for because he was a Sab player, and he's like, "Yeah, the fob has like no Sab power in it, so I just attacked it." And then we're all like, we have Admiral at the time. We're like, Admiral, get Snookums in line. He just like attacked our newbie alliance that we're trying to help along and teach the game. And you have Snookums over here bashing their fob when they're our allies. That's like the
Yeah.
ultimate story. It was hilarious. Like,
But yeah, look, he has also some issues.
and that's when EXO first got up there, and I guess he went drinking with you guys, and he launched the station in the wrong sector into like the middle of like the most hostile sector in the game, like way far away from where we were. And we're like, EXO, what happened? He's like, I went drinking with the devs. And I'm like, oh my god, like they're already like infecting you with this horrible gameplay. Like, what is happening? So it was funny. We've had good stories from.
Yeah. No, I remember one time, Snookums, we were playing, I think, in Alpha 5, and we were in opposite teams, and iMaple was actually infiltrated their Discord channel.
No.
Yeah, he pretended to be one of the persons in their alliance. And Snookums was posting everything in the Discord. We are gonna attack this guy at that moment. You put your feet there, and you're like, and then iMaple was relaying all this information to the other side, and we were participating every move he was making.
Oh
And he got so frustrated. And I remember he called me one time and like accused me of entering his computer to look at his Discord.
Oh my goodness.
I was like, what? No. I'm just saying, yeah, I think actually before Alpha 7, the competition within the office sometimes was just insane. And some guys were kind of mapping out when people weren't at the offices, were like going out with their wives or going to the cinema, and kind of planning their attacks around that. And
Like when they request PTO and hit him then, like,
yes, exactly.
He's taking next Monday off for an opera. Yeah, hit him then. Like,
yeah, those. Oh, they are going out to kind of party tonight. This is a good opportunity.
Oh no!
Like that.
I cannot express how happy it makes me to know the devs have used all of these same dirty tactics.
Yeah, we all play the game too, man.
How do you manage that in the office? By the way, like, does everyone have like a second or third monitor that has Starborne up, or does it like you make them wait for lunch breaks, or like?
I'm gonna say it was worse before. Actually, now it's quite calm for the most part, but it was actually horrible back in the day.
Now we've beaten you all, so you don't care as much about winning.
No, like I said,
We still have
it's just
competitors.
some people won't play unless they're gonna win.
Oh really?
Yeah,
That's funny.
that's just the case.
You think this lore will help them? You think someone might play now for the Union of Soul just because that's their favorite faction in the office, or do you think they don't care? They just want to be.
I definitely think the lore will have an impact.
But they won't be playing for Union of Soul because we all know Lunar Directorate is cooler.
Yeah, Lunar Directorate will win.
Yeah, okay.
Get these Cowboys out of here.
Soul is going to win, dude.
You have told us almost nothing, but I am already 100% invested.
Yeah, it's Lunar Directorate or bust for me, for sure. And I'm going to push that to the damn die.
Lunar all the way.
The sun provides all life, the moon just reflects it. It is obvious choice who's going to win.
I'm pretty sure the Lunar Directorate built the Dyson Sphere.
Yeah.
You're just shouting something out and you don't know.
There was brief mention of a Dyson Sphere in the one piece of lore we've got so far.
So, but that being said, the last time we only had strategic axis was in Alpha 7.
Uh-huh.
We had
Remember
Dysons in Alpha 8, Dyson still in Alpha 9, and then the 3 victory 3 paths in Beta. Now we are kind of going back to the same objective as in Alpha 7.
Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know Alpha 7 was like that. starting in Alpha 8, I just figured it always existed.
Well, I think we had. I'm not sure exactly how we had it in Alpha 6, but
We really need to do that history podcast.
Well,
Fair enough.
Bagels was supposed to do it with us, and then I guess we
So
waited too long.
There's other people.
why did he freak out?
Apparently, the issue was that he, what's it called? He
A
was
lot of
just.
leadership
It was not
issues.
really. The most polite way I can put it was that he was pretty much falling out of the game to begin with, and then what is it? This is just one of his triggers per se, is whenever people come and betray him, and it happened for the second time in a big way now. So
Yeah,
didn't really like it.
one of the main things was a lot of people told him that they would play S24, and when S24 actually launched, a lot of people quit, and that's when he really flipped off.
I would like to argue it's very, very hard to lead one of these giant coalitions. Literally, there's no in-game tools really, especially with the removal of coalitions. It just adds even more stress. And then it was community made, so it was our own fault really at the end of the day because we're kind of pushing it ourselves. But there's a lot of stretches that come in play, and I can imagine it builds up, and especially if expectations don't meet, what reality is. It's tough.
I mean, everyone needs a break for much.
Yeah.
He took a break before. I think he'll be back.
Yeah.
I hope so. He's a big character.
But most people find their way back. Speaking of which, I saw in the lore piece you guys did, you had Admiral Sultani, and it sounds like you guys killed him off. I don't know if you read that or if you're part of that. I actually messaged him. I sent him it on Discord, and the first thing he says was, "Wait, did they kill me off?" It's the first thing, because that's what did it say? End recording, final entry, personal log, Admiral Sultani.
At least as that person, yeah. So yeah, I'm actually in contact with Admiral or Jay from time to time. I think he's moving to the West Coast right now.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was funny. I couldn't help. This actually.
I think it's great. I think it's just like I love having kind of honoring big characters from the kind of story of Starborne in a way, like adding them to the story.
I think it's really cool, and I can understand there being a lot of issues that come up when if it happened ever more often, like, oh, this person got a character in the lore, why didn't I?
Yeah,
but I am very happy about Admiral having a character in the lore.
Just pretty fair with Admiral. He was very active, like very big for the community, making. Faka, you're next up. You know that.
Oh, okay.
I didn't know that. You got it here first. Faka.
I didn't forget you, Logan, as well. But.
Okay, thank you.
No, but this is actually another reason we chose Lunar. This was kind of the final straw for me because he said he's of the Lunar Dreadnought Armstrong, and I was like, all right, here we go, Lunar Directorate. Admiral brought me into this world. I'll follow him to his death, avenge his dying recording.
But that being said, if you get into the lore, you have no say on how it's gonna be or end up.
Oh yeah,
That's
no.
fine. Kill me off first. I want to be the red shirt that dies at the beginning.
No, because it's cool with Yingiv as well. Yingiv, or however you pronounce it. I understood that was also
Cassius.
Cassius, yeah, Snigum's friend, who we played with as well. His was funny because back when you could crab walk fortresses, and Snigum's was like, oh, no one's going to take the effort to do that when we brought it up originally. So I crab walked a fortress all the way to go steal his GT that he had in our sector. And as I went around, I had to go around all of it. He had this big station cluster, and Cassius or Smuggums, he was on the other side of it, and he PM'd me, and he was like, "Hey man, what's up with this like attack on me? You're taking up my commerce hub spot." And I was like, "Oh, I'm sorry." And I crawl all the way over there, and Snuggums doesn't message me for like 3 weeks later, and he's like, "Dude, what? You have my thing? And I was like, Cassius didn't tell you? Like, he had PM'd me directly. Like, I thought he said he's your friend. Like, he didn't say anything. He's like, nope. I'm like, what a guy. I'm like, that is an awesome guy. He just let me get away with it and sneak past him and his friend. Like, I thought that was so funny. That's the only really interaction I had with him.
And actually, Cassius, his name, real life name is Ingwe.
Oh, that's how you pronounce it?
Ingwe. And I named a sector after him in the open beta. I'm not sure if you recall.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, that was fun.
That's what we're talking about, yeah.
That was my favorite sector, by the way.
He said that once. He said I was going to spawn in the sector that was named after me, and I was like, why? Your name is Cassius. Out later. That's his real name.
I was gonna repay. He helped me out a little bit, so I repaid him by doing that for him.
Yeah, well, we were starting a petition to rename the Omega sector the Ingib sector, or whatever, however you pronounce it, because it was such an oddball, like, off name, and like, this is like the most like drawn out there back on the old sectors. So, yeah, but no, we all liked it. We thought it was a really good thing.
Yeah. But speaking of it, who are you gonna guys? Is it Lunar, Mars, or Sol?
Lunar.
Everyone here is going to say Lunar.
Lunar Directorate.
There's only one choice. I'm sorry that all these people have made the wrong one, but it's definitely got to be Union of Soul.
There's only a Soul choice.
I assume it's going to be Space Americans, so yeah, there's a Soul choice. There you go.
You got caught in the Liberty and Justice for All part, and you guys added like. No, freedom and justice for all. You guys switched it up a little bit.
Freedom, justice.
Well, the Lunar Directorate seem most similar to Atlas, and that's about 50% of what sold me on them.
Lunar Directorate is similar to us in general. That's what we were saying tonight. We like the beacon of enlightenment and rationality. Dedicated to human progress. Promotes. I don't know how to say that word. Doll pronounced it for me last night.
Meritocracy.
Meritocracy, rule and benefit of all. Will usher mankind towards its true potential. Like, all these are buzzwords. It's progress and prosperity is their little like tag. I love it. I'm all about it. First to space. We're the number one alliance. First.
I think they had the. I just read those. I need Psy in here, but I think they created a singularity as well.
What?
Yeah, I think they have some.
You're telling me Admiral Soltani of the Lunar Directorate created Singularity?
I'm not sure. Look, we'll have some more lore pieces around this.
Wait, there will be more than these 3 blocks at some point?
No, we will have 3 major factions, right? Like you're seeing right now. There might be more. I cannot comment on that, but. No, I'm just saying more lore pieces. Sai and the writers have written a lot.
That's cool. Well, Sai was part of Singularity, right? He was there for a bit.
Yeah, so basically, like you saw a very small lore piece, but there's documents after documents after documents. There's thousands of words. I think you could fit it into a novel already.
That's awesome.
That's really awesome.
We're so excited for that. I think we've been screaming from the rooftops for any kind of lore. I think you just piece it together and it's going to be...
Yeah. So basically, Dissidence is kind of a prologue into a story arc we are going to follow.
I will just say, if you ever add a 4th sort of solar system faction, because you said you're not ruling that possibility out.
I'm not, never say never, right?
I'll just say there's a very special place in my heart for Venus. Venus is very cool, but also very rarely used.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh, wow.
So I'm Neptune. Neptune's the best. Sorry to inform you, folks.
You have one that represents the actual Dyson sphere around the sun. This is where we live.
Home planet.
Oh, then we'll,
Halo.
we'll get the beltas too, right? The asteroid belt.
Doing full expanse here.
Yeah.
No, I think I'm not sure exact. So it's just the one lore piece right out so far.
Yeah.
No, there's 3. Talk on all of
The
them.
reason why the Union of Sol was formed was actually because of a Dyson sphere. They were they gained control of the Dyson sphere in the Sol system, and were able to kind of force Mars and the Lunar to submission within the Sol system. But so basically, what you're seeing, the Martian Commonwealth and the Lunar Directive, is these are the colonies of Lunar and Mars. Basically, Lunar and Mars within the solar system are in control of Sol. Sol is in control of them.
You're saying
Not
gained
for long.
control of the Dyson sphere? What I'm hearing is stole the Dyson sphere.
Yes.
It's mine.
We will reclaim
You
it.
can't have it. I'm
Don't worry.
sorry.
Despicable.
I need to get Snookums or Cyan. They can explain it a lot better if they want to. But so I know there are a few dev blocks around the lore plant, so I'm not sure exactly what they want to reveal first, but there's a lot of stuff, I can tell you that.
That's amazing. That
So
gives...
So what we want to do is basically Dissidence is the prologue, and then we have 3. You're just gonna follow. Like there's gonna be progression with the lore with each expansion.
I hope the progress is Lunar Directorate winning.
It depends. It depends on what's gonna happen right now. I mean, with Dissidence, but how the servers are gonna progress, how they're gonna go, will impact the lore.
So let's get the mass win for Lunar and get the Dyson Sphere back.
But the Lunar Directorate, when does server 24 end? We got 4 weeks. So in 4 servers from now, Lunar Directorate will definitely at least have 1 win. When I can finally play. So then it's just you guys got to come through on the other 3.
Well, I mean, I expect a few servers. Like it might be 3 or 4 servers during the first week, or more. It's hard to say. But it's still kind of it's exactly how. So basically, the first server in Dissidence will have more impact than the second server.
Yeah.
Will you guys try?
Basically, the first server is kind of I think it's planned as Tau Scorpi. That's kind of the first server is exactly the middle, and then the other ones are more the outskirts of that area.
Mhm.
So it will have more impact. We might make a tournament server, which might impact it a little bit more as well.
Oh. Alright, so
What tournament servers?
if you're gonna do a tournament server, please tell us 2 months before so I can not join a server and be in the middle of it so I can participate.
I'm interested.
I would love. I know obviously you don't have to, but if you gave the vets a chance to actually get ready for it, that'd be amazing. Because that's what you did with the last tournament server. I remember I had actually that was the first and only break I've taken from Starborne after Alpha 9 server 1.
Yeah.
I actually it's only because I got married actually, and I went on my honeymoon. I did all this, and I came back and I wasn't playing, and I get a text from Brank, so I hadn't heard from him like 2 months, and he's like, "There's a tournament." He's like, "They're removing Navy bases," and I was like, "There's the only 2 things you had to say. I'm in." Like, when is it? And then we immediately played another server so we could get ready for that. And ever since then, we've been playing straight servers. But it's a big thing. You guys give us a really big gap before, so we can even do training servers before, and I thought that was really cool.
Well, yeah. Let's see. I think actually I'm a little bit excited about this one because I know we have a wrap of bad server release launches, this one is kind of looking good. I know there are some bugs around the map, but that being said, on the attack side, this is pretty solid compared to most of our launches.
Yeah, I was thoroughly amazed it was able to stay up the entire night the first time it went up. Whenever we were doing the experimental.
I think server 24 even stayed up. We were all quite surprised by that. I mean, that's even basically the same. It was a brand new map, right? It was a lot of different stuff, and besides very slight lag in the beginning, we understand that's probably due to everyone accepting achievements at mass numbers, people logging in and creating accounts. But even with all that, I'm pretty sure the server stayed up the whole time, which I don't think I've ever necessarily.
No.
I always spawn in immediately, right? I'm within the first few minutes. I don't know too many people that spawn in before me, and I'll always at least encounter one crash, right? And it's to be expected the last time. So I am, maybe cautiously hopeful for this one. But even then, I don't think it'll be that bad. I remember tournament server, people couldn't even log in for a week. It was like, oh man, like Singularity had that bug where everyone in their alliance couldn't log in. That stuff was wild, but I haven't seen that in a while, so that's good to know.
No, yeah, and I mean, there's a lot of new stuff in Dissidence, like empire-wide effects on them from the map, sector-wide effects. It's just there's a lot of things that could have gone wrong. They seem everything seems very stable, and they are making very good progress on the bugs as well. So it's gone from the critical to the most, and then they are down to the nice to fix or something like that.
Yeah.
So I expect a pretty stable launch. Maybe the beta was kind of good compared to many of them, but I expect a stable launch for the most part.
Yeah, I've got my fingers crossed.
Did you? I'm interested. Did you expect a stable launch on the previous ones, or were you kind of going into it like, there might be problems?
It's just like I remember the tournament server. It was just a horrible launch back in the day.
Did you expect that horrible launch though, or like were you guys kind of gritting your teeth as you launched the server, or did you go into it fairly confident?
No, we were gritting our teeth.
Okay.
Same with Alpha 7, Alpha 8, Alpha 9. We got a pretty good Alpha Beta launch, and then just something went wrong. Like I'm a couple of months into it, and we had a very hard time. I remember we kind of had to skip 1 week of a server launch in June. But we eventually got it under control. But no, for this one, there are bugs, yes, definitely, but there are no showstoppers. People are not. We are not losing sleep over it.
Right. Do you have any I guess like any news outlets kind of doing these? As in, like, I remember like Game Informer and stuff did it one, and I remember actually talking to a lot of new players that were actually brought in by that. A lot of communities that were actually brought into it as well. Do you expect any kind of review thing?
No, I did speak to our PR agent because we didn't do a trailer for this. He said we should have our expectation kind of low on PR. But we'll at least do a PR release for it, so we'll just have to see. I expect a few outlets to at least pick it up. I'm not sure if PC Gamer will or some of the bigger ones, but we'll just have to see.
Is there a reason you guys skipped the video this time? Just development time, and you guys are very deep in stuff, or like you need one?
It's complicated. But yes, there are a few reasons for it. I don't want to go into it, but that much. But yeah, so basically we scheduled that. It's only a month ago where we actually scheduled the Dissidence launch.
Right as server 24 restarting.
It wasn't on our roadmap.
Right.
But that being said, so yeah, so it's kind of like I said, it's something we wanted to do something before we are doing the big launches. Which we've been doing a lot of work which you're not seeing in Dissidence.
Right.
A month it's not enough to make a trailer for it. We could have puzzled something together, but it would not have been a Dissidence trailer in any sense.
Or of a don't be a plant video.
The thing is, doing a good trailer takes months. It just takes a lot of time.
Right.
For the beta one, it took like 3 months back and forth between our team and people helping out with it.
Yeah, I mean, but you can tell they're magnificent videos. You guys put them out there, like it gives us chills. I'm like, holy crap! Like, what was that? Like, no, they're cool. You guys do a great job with them.
Hire Nicholas Way to do a meme one in 2 days.
Oh, jeez. Have you seen his videos, Grettir?
No.
Oh man, this guy Nicholas Way from the Alliance Eclipse. He's done like full blown like Red Alert 2 like cutscenes and stuff, like about his enemies and how they're like slave traders and yada yada yada. But he's like in a vest, like full movie production stuff. They're really funny and they're incredibly in depth.
Yeah, I can attest to that.
Yeah, it's been fun to see that kind of
Yeah, it's a shame, but we'll just have to see. I mean, there are some outlets that always pick this up, but I'm placing my bets on retargeting campaigns. We will spend a lot of money kind of targeting people who have played Starborne before, so we want everyone to kind of know about this, but this compared to maybe the beta launch, the awareness of there's a Dissidence update coming is not the same. Not at launch, at least. We'll do a better job for the next expansion. On the marketing side, I guess.
Gotcha. I mean, that's probably also a little bit safer too. I imagine. I mean, maybe it is so much different, but I don't know if you'll keep kind of the same vibe as this is, or like, are these new expansions going to be like, I mean, this mind blowing? Where you're getting like a buy update, we got like obviously this brand new map and people joining a coalition. Really, I think you guys come a block or sector on these huge changes.
It's going to be big. That's what I can say.
It's gonna be very different.
Jesus. These words you guys use are I don't know if they're exciting or scary or
probably both. I mean, we are changing. It's like a bypass surgery. We are changing the heart of Star. We are taking the combat system and just absolutely changing it.
Do you say the next one is primarily combat based then, like the next big expansion?
The thing is, when you change the heart of something, and you have the veins going everywhere into the system, it's not just you change the combat, you have to change so many things around it.
Oh yeah. I mean, at its core, this is a PvP game. I mean, combat, killing people.
But yeah, but like it's gonna be big. It's gonna be just very different in many ways. I'm very excited about it, but different.
Yeah,
I think that's the most fair point. But definitely big.
Yeah.
But very. But you guys seen we like to take chances. We've done a lot of different things with Starborne, and we are for the next 12 months we are gonna do a lot of different things.
Yeah, can't even
But
imagine the beginning.
I can tell you though. I can share with you the design goal we are having before release. We do want most people who join Starborne to kind of find a purpose within Starborne.
Right.
So whether it's kind of winning the server in a PvP race or building up their empire, I want to try to accommodate both in the best way we can.
I think that's a really good objective, and I'm interested to see how this plays out. I imagine, and you guys will get to see the numbers, but attrition has to be better with this system. How the old system works, I think the old systems definitely churn out a lot of like really hardcore veteran players that are like get good or die. But I'm interested to see the type of players that churn out from this, because it's going to be a much more like, okay, as soon as ESA drops, I'm not necessarily as worried. Like, obviously, there will still be some conflict, but I feel like you'll have to go out of your way for conflict.
In Dissidence,
right?
yeah.
In Dissidence, yeah. Whereas, as long as I'm not taking some super objective or, really making aggressive station placement, for the most part, I should be safe-ish. Right? I might get raided if, I'm looking particularly juicy and I don't have an alliance, but even if you have an alliance at all, even if it's a newbie alliance, we may not be as likely to, go up on you, because, we may be more worried about these guys in this other sector, or we may be more worried about expanding to these areas. I'm interested to see it, because we're really going to have to wait to see it, see how it plays out, but it's there.
I mean, this is a big change. Basically, everyone who joins the game has a purpose. Like, you have a purpose of helping out your sector, whatever you're like. Whether you're an alliance or not, you could just be a single player dude who was able to capture a GT, and it's still helping your sector.
100%.
Even just attacking across the sector lines theoretically is helpful, right? Like there is someone that is painted red on your screen, that even if you send a single attack, that is helpful. Whereas in current Starborne, if you send a single attack, it could be hugely detrimental to your game, because now you've stowed these political lines you didn't even know about, and like all this other stuff. Now it's like, nope, this is my sector, that's the bad sector. If I send an attack, I am helping on some level. I mean, that's
exactly.
Interesting.
It's a little bit different, and nobody can say exactly how it will turn out, but it's absolutely spicing up the meta, and I love that.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been giving quite a bit of thought to how it can turn out, but I'm still sitting here like, I really don't know.
Yeah.
I have ideas of options that people might play it, but
Feka and I are really interested in how the diplomacy is going to turn out.
Oh yeah, we've joked several times about getting like hoisted to the front of a 500-man coalition where half the people don't even know I'm talking for them, and being like, "Hey, doll, how's it going?" Like, "Oh, nothing much. Just been trying to herd cats and figure out how any of this game works." And I think it's been funny, been a funny thought process.
I'm glad I'll be able to return to the forefront of stress-related activities. I had it too easy these past few alphas. Now it's time for me to really shine again.
I'm trying to hide, dude.
Impression.
I'm debating changing my name, trying to go incognito. Anybody who finds out, I know, man. If you weren't a filthy, Union of Soul member, I might do that.
The one thing I'm confident of is that there are too many cats to herd now. Not that that's a bad thing, but just I will be amazed if anyone ever makes and keeps a deal on behalf of their whole
but they'll deserve it, like that's what they say. Like, it will really come down to, I think, a lot of these, if you are able to somehow maybe pull off a deal, because that's what a lot of people were saying. What if two sectors gang up on another one? And I'm like, your optimism about how how to organize people is like so hilarious, because I mean, we can barely organize 20-man alliances. Let alone, we've been trying with coalitions with 60 man, let alone 500 guys that literally don't even know what Discord is, and you're trying to be like, hey, can you log on? Make a Discord account so I can tell you information. It's gonna be hilarious.
Yeah, it's gonna be different. I like that. But that being said, this is still something we've been thinking about for a while, like the sector warfare, and it's something I want to kind of look into if we can expand it in the next coming expansions at least. So how it's gonna go here at least will be an indicator of the potential of this.
I do think, by the way, the first server of Dissidence is going to play out very differently to most other ones, just because people might care more about the lore aspect of their faction winning more than they care about any of the alliance stuff.
Well, that's the same thing that happens whenever we have a first server of any release as well.
That's a good point, actually. A lot of people are willing to sacrifice their own victory for a coalition to win.
Yeah, I'm excited to be dodging this one. Because server 24 is going on. This is the first I've missed in 2 years, and it's awful. It's horrible. It's grimy. It's disgusting. The things people are doing, it's like holy crap. It's full-time work. It's like you feel like you got a whole other job. So I'm gonna be happy. I'm gonna be Twitch streaming it. I'm just gonna be chilling back, watching Doll go at it. See if he can't wrangle up his Union of Soul guys. And it's gonna be fun. Be fun to watch for sure.
Are you telling me you won't make an account even though you're not?
I'm dropping it. I refuse to. We need to finish out server 24 because that was the whole community tournament, and we agreed to stick through it. So, against my better judgment, it's too hard to play 2 servers, at least with this state of the game. And the fact that we can't run 2 Starborne instances at the same time, which would be incredibly helpful if we could. Then I have 2 screens I can at least play twice, but right now we can't. But yeah, especially with how active the game is right now, it's really tough to play 2. So I'll be probably playing a few hours tonight, maybe the 2 hours when I Twitch stream. But besides that, I can't commit the amount of time it takes to lead.
Just play MPL and title all your stations "Raid Me for free res."
Basically, right? That's
Help the sector.
That's what I'm gonna do. That's pretty much what I plan on doing. I'm just gonna try to get my passive as high as possible because I know I won't be playing very often, and rename all my stations "Raid Me." That's a good idea. I might just do that. Help the sector. I'm helping the sector. Here you go.
So, do you guys think that's actually gonna be a thing? Like, hey, I like Luna Directive. I'm just gonna build a station on every server and just upgrade it.
Yes, I think that's gonna be a thing.
It takes blueprint farming to the next level. People talk about blueprint farming, and now you kind of have a reason and a rhyme. Like, I want Lunar Directorate to win at all costs, so I will log into every single server and make a station, build the warehouse, no container ports, and help out my boys. That's interesting. I haven't thought of that yet. If it's gonna be wide scale,
it is definitely now like all of the things we have tried to avoid for so long to do with mega coalitions, like ship trading, building stations just for people to raid, suiciding your ships somewhere so that the main alliance can win a fight. All of those things are just going to be meta.
Oh yeah, it's gonna have to be because they're all part of your team. Before there was kind of a negative to it because it was like, all right, you're an alliance that you're not even involved in this, right? Like it's some random rank 20 alliance that is helping out the rank 1 alliance, and everyone would get mad at them. They're like, play for yourself. Now they are playing for themselves because they're in your sector.
So I am happy about it, but it's just interesting.
Yeah, it is. It's kind of interesting to see how far people would go with this.
Yeah.
Well, 100% people will.
They'll name their station. There's gonna be a movement like supporting Lunar.
Oh yeah.
That means you can just rate that guy.
Yeah.
100% there will be people
every 3 days or something.
Yeah, log on every 3 days. That's all you gotta do.
Yeah. There will
That's funny.
100% be people who go onto a server and don't care about alliance victory, just care about sector victory. I'll probably be that because alliance victory is too much effort and I end up quitting whenever I try that hard.
Well, there's also going to be people on the other end of the spectrum too. People are like, well, I don't really care about this big goal. I just want to beat up on somebody.
Yeah, but then comes into the place. Is there gonna be a lunar police, like making sure that
Honestly, I kind of want to set up an alliance in the lunar sector.
I will join you,
where we'll
Rogan.
be like, we're just here to make lunar win. These people are free to raid. Raid Feka like wild. Even bomb him a little if you want.
Oh man.
But like, you know, all you major alliances in Lunar, you can fight each other. You want the alliance victory, that's reasonable. You can fight each other, but we are the Lunar Police. We're going to make sure you don't throw the sector in too hard. Once someone is a clear victor, we're going to back them and make sure the rest of you get in line.
And the weird part, it'll probably happen more naturally than that. Like, you won't even have to name yourself Lunar Police. I imagine there's going to be a lot of middle ground alliances in a sector that genuinely just wants the sector to get along, and we'll wait for like the two big ego alliances to decide who the main one's going to be. And now we got to support him, and then all the middle alliances are going to pick a side at some point and say, hey, we need the sector to win. You guys got to get yourself in line or we'll start attacking you guys. Like, we need to get this together. So yeah, basically their own little enforcing police. Yeah, the more you talk about it, the crazier and crazier it gets, and you're like, how could you predict any of this? Oh man, it's gonna be fun.
That is my main theory of how it's going to turn out, but it's new enough that maybe it'll be nothing like that.
I'm gonna be interested to see who's going to be the sector leader this time for each sector,
or if there'll be one. Honestly,
My favorite thing, we were talking yesterday, Feka, about how possibly that people are going to elect alliances that are like the strongest to be like the leaders of the sector and stuff.
Yeah.
I am waiting, praying and hoping for the day that one of them turns out to be a spy for the other faction.
Oh yeah.
That is going to make my year. I will be laughing so hard, man.
Okay, I'll be right back, guys.
Alright.
Gotcha.